right, we're going to look at this next question, number 3. There is a grid here that you can use to graph, but you don't have to. In fact, for numbers 3 and 4, the grid is kind of more optional than anything else. And a lot of our calculation is going to come from using some formulas for numerical stuff and plugging in things into some sort of equation. So it says, what is the equation of a line? I'm going to start by writing down my point slope version of an equation where we have y minus some y value equals my slope times the group in parentheses x minus some x value. All right, so we're going to fill in this point slope form. And we actually have like half of the answer because they told us in this prompt what is an equation of a line that passes through a point. So they gave us a point with an x value and a y value to plug into our equation. The x value is -3 and the y value is 0. What I don't have yet, but I need to figure out, is what is the slope? Now, I could plug in some points for x and y to try and figure out what the values are going to be of the slope by looking at the graph, doing a calculation of rise over run. Or we have 4x plus 3y. My other option is that I could solve for y and then identify slope. And it's a lot easier to identify slope after you've solved for y. To solve for y means that we want to get this y value by itself. So I need to try and remove anything else that's not part of the y value. Now I shouldn't say remove, I should say move it across the equation somehow. I notice that I have a plus 4x here. I'm going to turn that into a minus 4x and a minus 4x. Now, plus 4x and minus 4x, that's going to make a 0. So I'll still have 3y on the left. On the right, sometimes students will make an error by combining terms that should stay separate because one of these has an x and the other one has no x. Those cannot be combined, so we still have to keep them separate. It becomes -4x and still a plus 3. Next, we're still trying to get that y by itself. So I notice that I can divide by 3 to both sides. On the left side, 3 over 3 becomes a 1, so that's just y. On the right side, I actually have to distribute this division the same exact way I distribute a multiplication. So it's going to be -4x over 3 plus 3 over 3. Let's clean it up ever so slightly. Plus 3 over 3 is really a 1, because 3 divided by 3 is 1. And -4x over 3 could also be written as -4/3 times x. So our y is by itself, and once y is by itself, now it's a lot easier to identify slope. It's that number right in front of x. So for our equation, we want to plug that in for our slope, -4/3. And I know that that's the correct slope to choose. I should have mentioned this earlier. But when it says parallel, that means same slope. That's an important detail. If it were perpendicular, we would have modified that slope to make it perpendicular. All right, that's it for this question, and now we're on to the next one.